Hello and welcome back to Traversing the Cosmos, the astrology podcast. My name is Fola and I am an intuitive astrologer, and I'm glad you're back. Today, we're going to go over the astrological transits for the third week of Taurus season, May 6th through the 12th. We've got a new moon happening. We've got transits building up to this new moon. I'm really excited about this energy. It's super potent, super powerful. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start on Monday, May 6th. This is interesting because this transit is happening at 10:15 p.m. and it's going to get the ball rolling for this new moon. It's like we have one transit, then another transit, and then the new moon, okay? So it's kind of like a domino effect here. So on Monday, May 6th, Mercury is going to conjoin Chiron in Aries for the final time. We originally started this dance between Mercury and Chiron on March 20th. Okay, then they met back up again on April 15th, and now for the final time, they're going to meet in the sky at 21 degrees and 2 minutes of Aries. And as I said before, we're getting the ball rolling towards this big new moon that's taking place on the next day, okay? So this conjunction is setting us up. It's setting the scene for this new moon. It's bringing up the themes that we've been working with throughout Aries season of who are we? How do we speak to ourselves? How do we represent ourselves? What do we really want? What is authentic to us? And how are we healing our relationship with ourselves to be able to harness our inner power, our inner warrior, and charge after the things that we want, the things that matter to us? And it feels like Mercury is trying to gather the pieces of what we need to know so that we can move forward, okay? Mercury has been working with Chiron, Venus, the North Node. It's been working with all of these planets in Aries, and now it's reconnecting back with Chiron and delivering a message. And it feels like the message is finally settling in, especially now that Mars is in Aries. Mars is the ruler of Aries energy. And so all of these planets, when they're in Aries, they are under the direction of Mars. And so now Mars has finally made it to the Aries party and is able to, let's say, be a hands-on director rather than, the the one who's like nowhere to be found, okay? Before we were chickens with our heads cut off. We were a group of actors without a director. And now the director has shown up and it's all hands on deck. Mercury is passing on the notes and is helping you to heal, helping you to settle into yourself a little bit deeper. And it's at a new degree point with Chiron. Chiron is now at 21 degrees of Aries. It has never been here before in our lifetime. Well, in most of our lifetimes. If you have seen your Chiron return, which means you're over the age of 50, then it's been here before in your lifetime. But for most of us, for the young kids out there, this is completely new territory. And it feels like a reboot, a fresh start with the information that we have gathered from our previous encounters. And it's Chiron in Aries, so maybe it's not a previous encounter with somebody else. It doesn't have to be with somebody else. It can absolutely include a run-in with yourself, your previous self, your not self, the version of you that is not as bold or as brave or as complete or as determined. Mercury and Chiron are here to tell you how to start again. Make sure to allow yourself space and time for epiphanies to come through on this day. Almost exactly 3 hours later, the sun in Taurus is going to sextile Saturn in Pisces at 17 degrees. This is happening in the wee hours of the morning, Eastern Standard Time, that is. If you are in California, then this is going to be happening late on the 6th on Monday. And if you're all the way across the world, do your your own time adjustments, depending on your area. But yeah, for those of us in the East Coast or on the East Coast, this is happening at 1:18 a.m. And it's piggybacking off of that Mercury conjoined Chiron. The Sun in Taurus and Saturn in Pisces are working together to cement something new in your life. They're working together to allow something to release. That's Saturn in Pisces. And the Sun is going to put something down. It's going to offer something. And it's probably going to be something practical, tangible, a way to move forward, action that leads to maturity. All right, because that is also what Saturn wants from you. Saturn in Pisces wants you to let go of the things that don't serve you. It also wants you to step into your maturing, unconditionally loving self, okay? So what does that mean? It means letting go of pent-up aggression and anger. It means allowing yourself to see both sides of a situation. It means doing away with any habits, any escapist tendencies. It means allowing the things that hold you back, that keep you from progressing, to slowly slip away. All right. And it's also working with the Sun in Taurus. That Sun in Taurus has a tendency to hold on. It has a tendency to dig in. It has a tendency to only let go when it is absolutely ready. And that's the energy signature of this transit. We are ready. We have loosened our grip. We are allowing beauty to enter our lives, and in doing so, we are letting go of the sludge, the grime, the grit, the hardships. We are letting go of the things that we are so heavily attached to. Saturn in Pisces says there is a strength in saying no to something, whether that's a limiting belief, a habit, a tendency, somebody, a human being, anything that wants to come up for you. And the Sun in Taurus, it can see clearly what you need, what you do not need, what is allowed to come with you on the next phase, what is bogging you down and is kind of keeping you in its grip. The Sun and Saturn are working together to allow you to allow. Because together they know that getting rid of things allows other things to come in. Clearing space, clearing clutter, getting organized. It allows more space for new, more space for more aligned. And that is what you're working towards. And that is what this new moon can potentially bring in for each of us. A deeper alignment, a deeper sense of trust, a deeper sense of direction. All right, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Taurus new moon. It is taking place on May 7th at 11:22 p.m. at 18 degrees and 2 minutes of Taurus. The Sun and the Moon are coming together to start a new cycle in this area of your chart. Okay, so keeping in mind that the two previous transits are still taking place, okay? Mercury is still conjunct Chiron. Saturn is still sextiling the Sun, okay? So both of those energies are ingrained in this new moon. There's the energy of learning from our self-view, learning from our brazenness or lack thereof. And there is an energy of allowing things to come in, allowing things to slip away, knowing what is beneficial for your future, and making room for that. Like I said before, the Sun and the Moon are at 18 degrees and 2 minutes of Taurus, which means we are hitting Gene Key and Human Design Gate number 2. And they're very powerful energies, very receptive, deeply feminine energies. The human design gate number 2 is the gate of the direction of self, the director, the driver. And similarly to what we were talking about previously, it is the understanding of where we need to go, what needs to happen. The phrase that describes the second gate is the acorn that knows how to become the oak tree. It embodies the energy of I'm planting seeds because I know exactly what they will create in my life. I know what they are destined to become. It is seeing your inspiration grow before you even take your first steps. It's knowing how much energy to give to something. It is knowing what is important and valuable to you and what you want to invest your energy into, invest your time into, your spirit. So this new moon is going to bring visions to us, okay? It is going to allow us to see the fullness of what we can create, of what we can build. And maybe it's been a little murky before. Maybe you have been moving and putting one foot in front of the other and you haven't been able to see clearly. You haven't been able to see the wholeness. You're doing the factory work. But it feels like this new moon is allowing you a mountaintop view rather than being in the thick of it. It's allowing you to step back and to see it. And unfortunately, what can happen when we see our vision so clearly, when we can see what we want, it can push us into the energy of trying to force it to come true, to force it into fruition, to be impatient about it coming together or misunderstand the timing of life. Having a goal sometimes pushes us to go for that goal and try to attain it and do whatever we can to make it possible. And it takes us out of the unity of life, which is the second gene key. The second gene key goes from dislocation to orientation to unity. Dislocation is just that, feeling as though you are out of place or feeling as though you are doing things wrong. You have to fix things. You have to push things, to force things. And then orientation is about orienting yourself into the flow and the rhythm of life. Allowing, not feeling the need to rush anything, not feeling out of place or behind. Emphasis on the feeling behind, because I think that's part of this dislocation for this new moon in general, in particular, actually. And then with unity, it is about aligning yourself with the universe, knowing that everything happens for a reason. Everything is actually unfolding the way that it is supposed to be. You are not out of union with the universe. Everything that's showing up for you is showing up for a reason. Everything that you have worked through, you have worked through for a reason. There is no need to be hard on yourself. There is no need to second guess everything, to stay stuck in the past. You are being divinely guided. And there is no need to truly look for the future, to search for it, to push for it. Time is not linear, and although you may not see what you want in front of your face, know that you are already there. There is a version of you that exists that has what you want, and you will get there. You will take the steps you need to take. You will be guided perfectly. And the easiest way to get to your destination is to relax, is to allow, is to let go, is to transmute. There's a deep shift and change that's settling upon us, and we don't have to do much. There is a burning away of excessive habits happening. There is a surrender and an opening of your heart to life happening. There's a softening, a yielding, a flowing. This energy wants you to forgive yourself. It wants you to know that every experience is perfect, that there are no mistakes, that they don't exist. Every mistake that you think that you have made, it's really just the truth that you have been living. It is truly the arc that you are on. And it was all meant to be. Truly, this new moon is showing up to solve something for you. Solve something that you've been working at for a while. Simultaneously, this new moon is showing up to show you that the universe will give you things. That you don't have to rip and claw for everything that you have. That sometimes the universe shows up with a gift handed to you on a silver platter, and all you have to do is open the door and accept it. It's telling you to get out of your head, to drop into your body, and allow yourself to infuse relaxation and receptivity into your everyday practice. And the lesson of Gene Key 2 is that you don't have to do. You can be. And you being is you being in the flow of life. It is you being in your energy. It is perfection. And I find it interesting that the energy signature of this new moon is 9, which is about personal expansion and growth, symbolizing that this is a final phase of a period of growth that you are shifting out of or shifting through. And you're coming out of this with a deeper sense of self-love. And part of that self-love, like I said with the whole unity thing, is understanding that even your darker moments are supposed to happen. Even your periods of melancholy are purposeful. And so anything that is coming up for you, anything at all, instead of running away from it, filling the hole or the gap with something else, sit with your feelings because they are perfect, because they're meant to show you something. This new moon allows you to understand that fear is safe. It's okay. It doesn't mean that something is wrong or that you are doing something wrong. Unity is knowing that you and everything that you're going through, it's beautiful. And beauty is truly what Venus is all about. And she's the ruler of this new moon, by the way, because she rules Taurus. And absolutely everything is in Taurus right now. I mean, the sun, the moon, Venus, Jupiter, Uranus, like this energy is very strong, almost intoxicating, and very turbulent, but not in a terrible way, okay? It's shaking things up. It is building things into your life. It is allowing you to simultaneously step back and allow the universe to work for you. Now, does that mean that there's nothing that you need to be doing? No, there's definitely something that needs to be taken care of here. Like I said, there is a letting go happening, but you don't have to work too hard. All you have to do is let go. Relinquish your control. If you know that something is getting in your way, then you trying to force life, that's you holding on to the thing that you know has been getting in your way. You're trying to have your cake and eat it too. You're trying to get what you want with all the things that you want to take with you, even if this one thing is an anchor. So, part of being receptive, part of being in divine feminine energy is allowing the universe to play its role. It is guiding us. It is showing us the way, shining a light for us. And if we decide to head off in the opposite direction, then that's on us. We must allow ourselves to be led. And I promise the universe will lead us to our own personal promised land. All right, really quickly, we're going to go sign by sign for my rising signs. Now, you can apply this energy to your moon. You can apply it to your Venus, your North Node, your sun as well. So you can look up those, like let's say you're a Taurus sun and a Pisces rising and a Scorpio moon. I'm going to listen to the Pisces, the Taurus, and the Scorpio, but I'm going to apply the Scorpio energy to my emotions. I'm going to apply the Taurus energy to the way that I move, my sun. And I'm going to apply the Pisces energy the strongest because that's setting up the house system. So the house that I talk about, it has to do with your rising sign. So I'm going to apply the Pisces reading as my reading, and then the Taurus and the Scorpio readings as like little side readings, okay? So that's how you can incorporate multiple readings into your energy. All right, we're going to start with the Taurus risings because it is your new moon. Tauruses, you are dealing with this energy showing up in your first house. And what I want you to think about is, who do you want to be? How have you been showing up previously? Has it ever been forced? Have you ever felt comfortable? Maybe not ever, but is there a new comfortability that you are stepping into when it comes to your self-expression, your self-values, how you see the world, and how you see yourself? How do you want to show up? What do you need to let go of? What part of your projected identity no longer resonates with who you are and where you see yourself going? Aries rising, this is a second house transit that you're experiencing. This new moon is happening in your house of self-worth, of money matters, of talents and assets. And so the question that this new moon is bringing to you is, where do you want to be financially? How can you invest in yourself more deeply? Have you been blowing money? What do you actually need to feel safe, comfortable, and secure? And where does that feeling come from, actually? Where does your security come from? So, Aries, you're going to have to do some digging, okay? Because you need to find a deeper sense of your personal power. What are you worth? What are you worth to others, and what are you worth to yourself? Do those two things align? Or are you accepting the short end of the stick? This could mean a shift up in your job. This could mean a shift up in the way that you save money, in the way that you spend money. It could mean not worrying so much about money, allowing money to be less of a dependency and more of an energetic exchange, allowing it to flow a little bit more. There's plenty of ways that this can show up for you, Aries, but the question that you need to ask yourself is, what are you worth? Period. Okay, Pisces risings. This is a third house transit. And what you need to be asking yourself is, what do you want to say? We're working with the power of your voice, Pisces. How have you used your voice in the past? How do you want to use it in the future? What can speaking do for you? And how can your mode of communication shift a little bit as well? We are understanding the power of our words and our mind. Like I said, there's something that needs to be let go of, and maybe that is the way you have felt about what you need to say, like maybe we're finding a deeper value in our own presence and understanding and vocalizing that. This can also show up as a shift in our thinking and the way that we process information. So like I said, what do you want to say? What do you think? What do you believe in? How are you sharing your understanding with others? And how are you processing information? Aquarius risings, you are dealing with the 4th house transit for this new moon. And so we are dealing with the home and childhood, your childhood experiences, the things that make you who you are. So the question that I want you to think about is, how does your home life bring you a deeper sense of joy and inspiration? What needs to shift in your family dynamic? What needs to shift in your power dynamic with authority? How can you feel more at home within your home? How can you feel more accepted within your home? What needs to shift so that your home life can be a more fertile place, a place where your joy is held, a place where your inspiration is cultivated, a place where you go to thrive and recharge, not a place where you go to escape, or a place where you don't feel accepted, or a place where you have to work to be accepted. And one more thing I want you to think about, Aquarius, is how does your home life or your inner child life, your childhood, how does it seep out into the way that you experience the outside world? And how can that start to shift? Capricorn risings, you are experiencing a 5th house transit with this new moon. And the question I want you to think about is, how can you allow yourself to experience more joy? How can you allow your talents to shine? So this new moon is lighting up the area of your chart that has to do with creativity and childlike wonder, that has to do with dating and fun in general. And Capricorn risings, you can be very serious. And it's not a bad thing, but sometimes you need to allow yourself to go with the flow, but to also not allow yourself to get lost in the chaos. This is dating energy. It is putting on a play. It's performing energy. It's having fun with kids. It's having kids. It's allowing creativity and play to take center stage, to lead you into artistic growth, to creative wisdom. It also can lead you to having a really nice significant other or having a beautiful family. And so we're planting deep seeds here, deep seeds of joy, enthusiasm, creativity, and children. How can you be more like the childlike version of yourself? How can you allow your creativity and talents to blossom into something bigger than you even imagined? This 5th house energy with the Taurus energy, it's fire and earth coming together, and it feels like you're cementing something that is more lively into your life and having a beautiful time doing so. Sag risings, you guys are having a 6th house transit, 6th house of work, health, daily routines and habits, and of healing. And this is a beautiful new beginning within your workplace, within your own personal health, within your own physical, tangible life. There's a restructuring happening. There's an opening happening, and it's allowing you to commit deeper to who you want to be, where you want to be, to physically commit your energy and strength to taking tangible steps. This new moon is going to ask you where you want to be in your career, where you want to be health-wise in your body, how you want to restructure your time. What is the most beneficial restructuring of your time for you? It feels like there is a new reality waiting for you, and maybe this means you have to take a step back at work, or you're taking another job, or you're working for yourself, or you're implementing something that is showing up for you every single day, that is creating subtle but impactful changes for you every single day. So your question is, what do you want your reality to look like? Scorpio risings, you are restructuring your relationships in the 7th house. This new moon wants you to set groundwork and boundaries in your relationships. And the question that you need to ask yourself is, how do my relationships lift me up? What do they bring to the table? Each and every single one of them. How do I show up in relationship, and how do my relationships show up for me? This can bring up ebbs and flows in the people who have come in and out of your life and why they have come. This is an understanding of what the people you have soul contracts with, honestly, what they have brought into your life, and how you can deeply understand and be grateful for your encounters, good, bad, and everything in between. So, Scorpio, I want you to ask yourself, what have your relationships brought to you? How have they elevated you? How have they taught you a lesson? What do the relationships in your life now bring to you? Which ones need to be held on to, and which ones can be let go of for the greater good? Libra risings, you guys are having an 8th house transit with this new moon. And so you are working with building your self-worth separate from other people, which is a major theme for you, Libra, okay? The South Node's in your 1st house. Like, you got a lot of things going on, and you have been feeling the pressure of transformation. I just know it, Libra, but it's okay. It's all going to forge a newer, stronger, better, more aligned you. And so this new moon is a peg in that process. It's going to ask you, what are you worth? What do you give to others? What do you receive from others? This is a regeneration of your own power, a regeneration of how you see yourself, how much you value yourself, and an understanding of how much you have relied on the value that other people have brought to you. And we're doing away with that. So for this new moon, get to know yourself deeper. Appreciate yourself. Make a gratitude list of all the things that you love about you, all the things that make you powerful and strong, all the things that you thought you needed to get from other people, but you understand now that you can give it to yourself. And that means no more taking bad deals, no more undercutting yourself in your relationships, in your contracts. You are understanding that if people aren't adding to your life, then they don't need to be there. No more straddling the fence. No more trying to balance everything out for other people. Who needs to go? Who needs to stay? Who builds you up? And who is not adding to your life? Virgo rising, you guys are having a 9th house transit, and this Taurus new moon is bringing up your beliefs and your spirituality. It may bring up a little bit of traveling. It may bring up your philosophies, which I think kind of goes with spirituality and belief. But it's mostly dealing with what you believe and how a belief needs to change, needs to shift, or how your beliefs have been shifting and changing over time, and maybe you haven't even realized it. This energy wants you to take stock of, what do you know? Not what anyone else has told you. What do you know? What do you know to be true? And how does that shape your world? You're taking inventory of your systems of belief, of your spirituality, of your connection, of your need to know the secrets of life. Virgo risings, you're stepping into a period of innate wisdom and trusting that innate wisdom. You may have a tendency to second guess the self or the actions that you take, feeling as though you need to constantly go back and make sure everything's perfect, everything's right. But guess what? This is not the house for that. Ninth house is all up to you. There's a knowing that you have to rely on and be comfortable with relying on. This is the house where nobody can tell you what to do, how to feel, how to think. It is all up to you and your experiences, and you have to trust that. Trust yourself, trust your inner wisdom, and trust your inner knowing. So let's get clear. What do you believe? What do you have to say? What do you know deep down in your heart? And how have those beliefs led you to where you are today? What needs to shift and what needs to be anchored? Leo risings, this is your 10th house of career, 10th house of life path. This new moon is very integral to your money, very integral to your success. And there's, like I said, there's a beautiful allowing happening. There's something that's opening up for you that maybe you didn't even deem as a career path, but it's showing itself, it's presenting itself to you and saying, hey, look, this is absolutely an option. This is something that you could be good at, that you could be great at. But, you might have to let something go. You might have to switch jobs. You might have to allow yourself to step outside the home a little bit more. You may have to let this thing blossom into your life. And I'm specifically hearing for you, Leo, that we are taught to go in one direction in our life. We are taught that our career needs to be something that we basically manhandle. It's an area of our life where we are supposed to be in charge. We are supposed to know what we want and go for what we want and get it done. It's masculine energy at its finest. But like I said, this new moon is very feminine. So it tells me that something in your career, it can be allowed to shift into a receptive energy. Maybe something is coming your way that you didn't see coming. Maybe an avenue is opening up for you that you don't have to work so hard at because it is innate to who you are. There's a flowering happening. There's something blooming for you, Leo. And all you have to do is step aside. And I know that that is hard when we talk about your career, but all you have to do is step aside and to let it bloom. Let it take you somewhere. Allow this phase of your visibility to blossom. So, the question, what are your career goals? What have they been in the past? And how are they changing? Cancer risings, you are dealing with an 11th house transit in your house of social groups. And this new moon is telling you, who do you want to be to people? It's asking you, where do you fit? This is your social groups, your networking, your colleagues. And so maybe there's a group that you're a part of that you're not supposed to be a part of, that isn't actually beneficial for your growth. Maybe you find yourself in a random group on this day and it starts a whole new journey for you. And it's something that you didn't even know you wanted, but you feel accepted here. You feel comfortable here. You feel like you can share your wisdom and your knowledge and your voice. This new moon gives the energy of finding your people, of walking into a situation and feeling completely comfortable, completely understood and accepted. And it feels like it's going to pop up out of nowhere. It feels like whatever it is that is coming in for you, it feels like a surrounding, like it's basically the energy of, oh, I don't know how I got here, but this is where I'm supposed to be. I don't know how I got here, but this is where I'm supposed to be. These are my people. This is the group that I want to contribute to, and that group is then going to also pour back into me. This new moon wants you to assess where you belong. It wants you to think about your social hierarchies, think about the groups that you contribute to and how those groups pour back into you. It's like a puzzle piece finding its puzzle. You know, like a rogue piece dancing around trying to figure out where it's going. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you guys are already in order at the table? Oh, well, let me join. Cancers, you are finding your puzzle and fitting right into place. Gemini risings, this Taurus new moon is happening in your 12th house of the subconscious mind, your 12th house of isolation and imagination. And the question that this new moon is bringing to you is, what do you do with your alone time? Geminis, you are a wonderfully rambunctious and social group, okay? It's a beautiful thing, but this new moon is highlighting the opposite of that. It's highlighting, what do you accomplish on your own? How can you relax and enjoy your time by yourself, and how that time actually contributes to your creativity and creation onto this earth? I want you to ask yourself if you seek solace in other people, or if you are perfectly fine to be and thrive by yourself. What do you add to your own world? How do you take care of your mental health? How do you value the time that you spend on your own? Are you putting it to good use, or are you disassociating? There's a difference between meditating for an hour and watching a YouTube video for an hour. Now, you could be doing something educational, but you could also be numbing the mind. Is that how you spend your time by yourself? That's the question. How can you utilize your alone time to be your best and greatest asset? All right, y'all, we made it to the end of this podcast. I appreciate you. I value your presence here. I hope that I have helped in some way, shape, or form. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. And let me know how your new moon is going. I'm excited. The new moon's gonna happen 2 days after my birthday. Ooh, 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 ooh. So I'm gonna be partying. Actually, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be ordering crystal bracelets. So there's that. But anyway, take good care of yourself and luxuriate in this new moon that we are being given as a gift from the Taurus gods, from Hathor herself. I appreciate you for being part of my tribe. Are we going to be called the astronauts? I don't know. I've been thinking about it, but I haven't figured out exactly what I want to call you guys. Cosmopolitans? No, that doesn't even make sense. Stars? Maybe you guys are the stars. Maybe you guys are the stars. Either that or the astronauts. I like astronauts. I think that I'm leaning towards astronauts, but also like I'm just kind of talking, just kind of saying things. All right. See you later, astronauts. Bye. Oh, and don't forget, you belong. Bye now.